Just show up. We hear that all the time, right? Like it's simple. But is it? In reality, showing up is one of the most complex, courageous, and soul-shaping things you can do. Because showing up isn't just about being there. It's about being present. It's about choosing presence in a world that rewards distraction. It's about integrity when no one is watching. It's about becoming someone your future self can thank you for. And here's the twist. Showing up doesn't always feel good. In fact, sometimes it feels exhausting, awkward, and unseen. But when you really understand what showing up means, whether that be for yourself, your relationships, and your purpose, it becomes a superpower. This episode is for the people who are ready to stop ghosting their own growth, who are ready to stop coasting on autopilot and start engaging fully. You're listening to Challenge Accepted with Jonah C, where we challenge habits, patterns, mindsets, and mediocrity. And today, we're talking about what it really means to show up. Are you ready? I am. I'm Jonah. I'm your person. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the show. You know, before you can show up for the world, you've got to learn how to show up for you. And I'm not just talking about spa days and me time. I'm talking about radical self-respect. Showing up for yourself means being the person you wish someone else would be for you. Let me give you an example. There was a time in my life when I was waiting on someone to validate me, to affirm me. I wanted somebody to check in and say, "Hey, you good?" But nobody came. Not in the way I needed. And then I realized I had to become that for myself. And that meant waking up and checking in. That meant being honest when I was spiraling. That meant setting boundaries, not because I didn't love people, but because I finally started loving myself. Showing up for yourself isn't a vibe. It's a discipline. And here are some ways it looks in real life. Telling yourself the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Investing in your healing, not just your hustle. Following through on promises you've made to yourself that nobody else knows about. And here's the kicker. When you consistently show up for yourself, you become magnetic. Not because you're perfect, but because you're present. So here's your challenge area. Pick one self-respecting decision you've been avoiding. Do it today. Then ask yourself, what would it look like if I did this for 30 days straight? Let's break it all the way down to micro actions of integrity. Every time you hit snooze, every time you skip the gym or ignore your inner voice, you send a message to your subconscious. My word doesn't matter. And every time you follow through on the little things, waking up when you said you would, journaling when your mind is racing, speaking up instead of staying silent, you rebuild that internal trust. And trust is everything. You don't need more motivation. You need more momentum. And momentum is built through micro actions. Let me paint a picture. You ever notice how doing one positive thing leads to another? You drink a glass of water and suddenly you want to eat better. You knock out one task and suddenly you're ready to take on the rest of your day. That's not coincidence. That's chemistry. Consistency changes your identity. Every small action says something about who you believe you are. So when you're tempted to say, it's just one skipped workout, or it's just one more hour of scrolling, ask yourself, is this aligned with who I'm becoming? Here's a mini challenge for you. Pick one micro action to lock in this week. Something so small, it's laughable. Then do it daily. Track how you feel by day 7. You don't need to do everything, but you do need to do something. Here's a question. Would you still put in the work if nobody ever congratulated you? Would you still build your brand if nobody reposted your content? Would you still record the podcast, write the book, train at the gym, go to therapy if no one clapped? Because if your motivation is based on applause, your progress is always going to be unstable. The real you is revealed when the crowd is gone, when the notifications are silent, when it's just you, the mirror, and your why. Let me share some personal thoughts with you. Some of my biggest breakthroughs came in the quiet seasons, when I felt overlooked, underestimated, even invisible. But I kept showing up, and here's why. Because the process is the reward. Because you're becoming someone different every time you show up. Even if nobody else sees it yet, you feel it. And eventually, they will too. Now here's an area and a space to reflect. Let's think about this together. What part of my life deserves more consistency, even if no one ever acknowledges it? Because the grind in silence is where the most authentic versions of you are born. Now, let's turn the page and let's talk about relationships. You ever had someone in your life who was there, but not really there? They showed up physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, they checked out. That's one of the most painful experiences. Being around people who are unavailable in every way that matters. Now, here's the real question. Are you showing up like that for people? Are you actually listening when your friend vents? Or are you just waiting for your turn to talk? Are you giving advice from ego? Or are you holding space from compassion? Are you making people feel safe or just tolerated? True connection doesn't require you to fix people. It requires you to feel with them. And sometimes showing up means you're not making it about you. It means staying present through someone else's pain, even when you don't fully understand it. It means taking responsibility when you've caused them harm, even if it wasn't intentional. It means learning to speak the love language of the people you care about, not just what's convenient for you. So here's your next challenge. Think of one person you care about who might be feeling unseen. Reach out to them today. Not with advice, not with a solution, just presence. Just, hey, thinking about you. No pressure to respond. I'm here. Here's a bit of truth that might sting a little. You're not always going to feel like showing up, but growth doesn't care about your mood, and discipline doesn't wait for motivation. When you only show up when it's easy, you train yourself to be emotionally fragile. But when you show up on the hard days, the tired days, the uninspired days, you build resilience. Some of the most pivotal episodes I've ever recorded came from a place of emptiness. No script, no hype, just honesty. And those are the episodes people message me about later. Why? Because authenticity is magnetic. And people don't need perfect. They need present. So ask yourself, can I show up fully, even with a heavy heart? Can I honor my process, even when it's messy? That's strength. That's courage. That is showing up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and notification button if you're enjoying the show. Thank you. Let me ask you this. Are you showing up for others? As I move along with this portion of the show, I want to plant a seed. Always remember this, whether that's in your personal life or your business life. One size does not fit all. So here's the thing. Sometimes we show up with the right intentions, but the wrong approach. You can mean well and still miss the mark if you don't read the room or the person. Let me break it down. Some people need tough love. Others need soft patience. Again, others need soft patience. Some people need directness. Others need gentleness. Some people don't need words at all. They just need quiet company. And here's the wild part. What someone needs today might not be what they need tomorrow. So showing up requires emotional flexibility. You can't show up for someone if you're too busy trying to fix, correct, or rescue them. The goal isn't control. It's connection. I want to offer you practical tips for sometimes complex situations. Next time someone shares something heavy with you, ask the question, do you want advice or just someone to listen? How can I support you right now? Do you feel safe talking about this with me? These questions build trust. They show that you're not just showing up, you're showing up the right way. Let's zoom out for a second and let's talk about the long game of showing up. What if you made showing up your lifestyle? Not something you do sometimes, but something that defines who you are. Like walking into a room and the first thing that comes to people's minds are, that person shows up. And let's call it your brand or your legacy. Because consistency isn't glamorous, but it's powerful. You want to change your life? Don't wait for the big moment. Don't wait for the mood or the miracle. Start with today. The little habits, the quiet efforts, the unseen sacrifices. That's the long game. And the beautiful thing is, every time you show up, even imperfectly, you cast a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. Because here's the thing. You're not here to be a passenger in your own story. You're the author, and every page counts. So here's your final challenge. Take stock and inventory. Where have you been showing up halfway? Choose one area of your life, health, creativity, relationships, finances, and recommit fully, with grace, but with urgency. I'd like to leave you with this. Showing up is an act of self-love. It's an act of service. It's an act of power. It says, I'm not waiting for life to happen to me. I'm engaging with it fully. I'm not hiding. I'm not coasting. I'm here. And I hope this episode reminded you that presence is the real flex, not perfection, presence. If this resonated with you, do me a favor. Share it with someone who needs the reminder, someone who's been ghosting their own greatness. And don't just share it. Talk about it. Start the conversation. That's how we grow. If you want to catch some extra fun and exciting content, please add me on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Threads, and Blue Sky. Until then, show up for your life, for your people, and most importantly, you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming back, and have a great week.